Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I am just so excited for today's episode because it's the 3-year anniversary since I started the show. I can't believe it's been 3 years since I started this show. I didn't think I was going to get past 10 episodes, and I know I've said it many, many times, but I have to keep saying it again because I'm at 818 episodes as of today. I will be interviewing Richie Abanes. Richie Abanes, of course, played Richie in 1985 canon classic Rappin, the classic rap movie with Mario Van Peebles. And I'm having him on the show today to talk about the making of that movie and talk about, his theater dancing days in a chorus line, and he did a lot of great plays in high school, and then he turned to journalism, and I'm going to talk to him about all that stuff today, and I can't wait. No better way to celebrate 3 years of this podcast. So here is my interview with Richie Abanes. Hey, Richie.
Hey, Tommy. How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Surviving like everybody else.
Yeah, we all are. Welcome to the show. So this is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, I'm so happy. It's so fun and kind of crazy to hear about. People are still talking about rapping.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting and performing early on in your childhood?
Oh, yeah. I was singing the commercials on TV when I was like 3 years old, and I would be copying actors and doing lines from television shows I would watch. So, yeah, all the way going back to when I was a kid, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I did that too.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
Yeah, the bud bites you early, for sure.
Yeah, did you do a lot of school plays and community theater?
Yeah, that's where I got a lot of my early experience before going out into the big crazy world. I started in community theater in Rockford, Illinois, which in fact at that time, from that era, for some bizarre, really strange reason, a lot of kids in my age group went on to do Broadway and television and become very, very famous. So I don't know whether it was something in the water, but it was really exciting. So yeah, I did dinner theater there. I started dancing at about 13 years old, and I studied real hard there in Rockford and did a lot of shows in community theater and at my high school. Yeah.
Wow. And Rockford, Illinois, that's where Cheap Trick is from.
You got that right, absolutely. And Joe Mantello, director of Wicked, Steve Benson, who is The Little Mermaid, Bob Greenblatt, who has produced all kinds of stuff for everybody, basically. Linda Wallem. I mean, the list goes on. Maren Maisie, who unfortunately passed away. She's very big on Broadway. So, there were a lot from that town.
Wow, I didn't even realize there was that many and stuff. But then again, you're
crazy, right?
Yeah, but then again, you're from there, so you know all that.
Yeah.
Just like I know everybody who's from San Mateo, California, where I'm from. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly, same thing.
Yeah. Did you take singing and dancing lessons early on?
I did. I started taking. I took a few singing lessons when I was in my early teens, but not really a lot. I enjoyed just sort of going and practicing on my own and experimenting with what my voice could do, and I sang a lot. And I did take, however, very, very in-depth, strenuous dance classes starting when I was like 13. I think I started with jazz, and then I went into ballet and tap. And as I got older, into my later teen years, I started studying in Chicago. I studied with the Hubbard Street Dancers in Chicago.
Nice.
And Phil Hall Jazz Studio. And then, of course, I finally got to New York. I kept studying here.
Nice. Were your parents performers at all?
Well, my mom always was. She had wanted to be a singer and dancer, and she was actually pretty good. In fact, we were fortunate enough to do a few musicals together when I was still living at home as a teenager. We did Fiddler on the Roof together. We did Funny Girl together. So she was the one, in fact, who, God rest her soul, was the one who asked me. She said, "Do you want to take dance class?" Like, oh, sure, So she got me into the whole thing, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good that she did that.
Yeah. She was a wonderful, wonderful, loving woman. I owe so much to my mom. I really miss her. She was really something.
Oh, that's sweet. So I was reading that in high school you did plays like West Side Story, Fiddler on the Roof, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Yeah. Were those good experiences?
Oh, they were the best experiences. In fact, West Side Story, I have a very special place in my heart for West Side Story. I did that when I was 14. I played Baby John, and it was the first show I did at a semi-professional dinner theater outside of Rockford called Henry's Cock Tower Inn. Mm-hmm. And they had a theater there with a wonderful choreographer, director named Chuck Haynes, or sometimes Chuck Hones. I'm still not sure to this day how you're supposed to say it. But he had been in New York and was a dancer in New York. He was an incredible teacher. He was my mentor. And that was the first show, West Side Story, that I did, that I got paid for. I actually got a check for it, and I thought, wow, this is really cool. So, once I got paid, I really, really need to keep doing it now.
Yeah. And so you moved to New York what year?
I think I moved to New York in, I want to say 82, because straight out of high school, I actually moved to Nashville, Tennessee for 2 years. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of television. I was at the Opryland USA, which used to be a theme park dedicated mostly to different kinds of music, different musicals, reviews, all kinds of shows. It was an incredible place for young people to get out there for the first time in the world and gain some amazing experiences. I was fortunate enough to do that, and during the 2 years I was there from 1980 to 1982, I did a lot of television. I did some shows from the Grand Ole Opry. We actually did a sort of 1980s version of Hee Haw, up to date. It was called Nashville Palace. It was on NBC for one season. I was one of the featured dancers in that. So I got a lot of experience for 2 years, and I came to New York, and I was so very, very blessed. The very first week I got here, they were having open calls for auditions for a chorus line, a touring company, mm-hmm. and I actually got it. I actually got it, and that was my first job here in New York, and I went on the road with the bus and truck company of a chorus line touring.
Wow. Did you ever audition for the movie?
I went in and I was interviewed by the director, and I did not make it. So they were looking for something that wasn't me, which happens, that's part of show business. You get rejected more often than you get accepted. So, but I had a couple friends that were in the movie, and the whole chorus line thing, when it became the longest running show on Broadway back in the 80s. I was there, of course, when everybody who had ever done the show in every company was there, and that was one of the greatest experiences in my life.
Imagine.
Outrageous, yeah.
Yeah, Jan Gann Boyd, the Asian girl in the movie, she's a frequent guest on here.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. There's a lot of ACLers out there. It's one big family, one big family.
Oh yeah, it's a show that brought a lot of people together. And then, And then you did Dreamgirls.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough. Michael Bennett knew me from a chorus line when I was in. I talked to him. He'd asked me to come back to New York and maybe audition for the show. So after my tour contract was over, I did come back, and after doing a couple of other things in New York, they did have auditions for Dreamgirls.
Mhm.
And I went, and they put me in the show. So that was my second Michael Band show. And I was there in a Broadway company. It was still mostly the originals. I went into Dreamgirls probably about a month or two after Jennifer Holliday left. So I just missed her, but I was able to meet and become friends and still friends with many of the people that were in Dreamgirls. So in fact, one of them, Phoebe Murray, who's one of the dancers with me, he and I are like brothers. I mean, we're still really, really good friends. So that was another family, like the song, "We Are a Family."
Yeah. And were you happy when they finally made a movie out of it?
I was kind of excited about it. And I'm always, I'm a stage person mostly, even though I did Rappin, and television things. But I just love the stage so much. I don't think you can ever replace the magic of theater, although I love films and movies, of course. But when it comes to musicals, I think when it comes to movies, I enjoy things like drama and sci-fi and action adventure and stuff. When it comes to musicals, I think I like it better in theater, live theater.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of the stage production of it until the movie came out, and it took a long time for the movie to come out.
Yeah, it did. But sometimes it happens with copyrights and things. There's always issues with composers and writers and all kinds of stuff that I've never to this day really come to understand a lot of that. So a lot of when they actually canceled it.
Yeah, I think Eddie Murphy did a great job, though. He should have gotten the Academy Award that year.
Yeah. Well, he's an incredible. I mean,
yeah.
There's so many gems.
Yeah. Now, we know how inaccurate IMDb can be, but I read on Wikipedia that you had played the lead in an ABC after-school special.
I did actually. I did 2 ABC after-school specials. Both of them, I think, around 1980. I want to say 1985, 1986. And I also did a wonderful special called The Constitution with Bill Moyers, hosted by Bill Moyers, which was a really incredible show for young people because he did this program where he explained the Constitution and some of the aspects of the Constitution, and interspersed between Bill Moyers speaking, there was this little storyline, like an experience of somebody in Los Angeles, a young guy in Los Angeles, me, for a job, and it just sort of followed my adventures, and it was really an interesting show. So that was very fun.
Nice. Which after school special did you play the lead in?
It's called Fractions. What's the Point? That's one of them where we taught fractions, and in fact, if I remember correctly, the woman who played my mother was the woman who was the host of Romper Room at the time.
Really?
It was pretty fun. And I'll be totally honest with you, the second after-school special that I did, I can't remember the name of it. This is long ago. I'm getting old. My memory's failing me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's what's missing from the world today is the after-school specials.
Yeah, I love those. Those are so great. I've never grown up on those. And Sesame Street. I still remember, I mean, I'm dating myself, but I remember the very, very first time Mr. Snuffleupagus came on Sesame Street, and it was so exciting.
Yeah.
I was just a little kid, but
That's what everyone called me in high school, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Yeah. What's really funny? We're talking about Sesame Street when we were in Rappin. Me and the other guys who were in the Wild Thing, that was the big gang, of course, that we called ourselves in the movie.
Yeah.
There was actually some talk, and I never understood why this didn't happen or what ended up occurring with this idea, but there was some talk among us and other people that perhaps because in that movie we were portraying a good gang of guys. We were like saving the neighborhood against a bad gang of guys. So we were thinking maybe that at some point they were going to actually have a Sesame Street gang, but a good gang, like a group of guys who hung out together and helped people on Sesame Street. So unfortunately, that never materialized. But that was kind of a cool idea that we were talking about at the time.
Mm-hmm. So how does Rappin come into your life?
How's that again? What's that?
How does Rappin come into your life?
You mean as in actually rapping?
Yeah. I mean, was it a standard audition?
Well, oh, you mean how did I actually get to be in the movie?
In the movie, yeah.
It was a standard audition. I was not a rapper by any means. I was mostly a singer, dancer, and an actor that had done legit theater. And to be honest, back in those days, I hadn't really had a lot of exposure to rapping. It was brand new. I mean, Ice-T was in the film, but I'd never heard of him. Nobody else that I knew had ever heard of this guy named Ice-T, But I remember, breakdancing was just sort of coming out at the time. Rap was just starting. And so I got a call from my agent saying there's this movie called Rappin. It's supposed to be like a follow-up to Breakin' by the same production company. And they need someone who is who is sort of ethnic, but not really ethnic, sort of like a Latino type look. And they want somebody who can dance because there's a dance scene.
Yeah.
So I went to the audition, and Joel Silver was the director, and I read a couple times for him, and he and I clicked, and he said, "Do you rap?" And I said, "Well, I could learn," and he said, "That's good enough for me." So he hired me, and I played Richie in the film, which was kind of funny because my name is so.
Yeah.
And when everybody would say Richie in the film, it wasn't hard to know that they were talking to me.
Yeah. And Joel Silberg, he was coming off of Breakin'.
Yeah. Joel Silberg was coming off of Breakin'. And he had also my favorite thing about Joel that I found out when he and I were hanging out talking was that he had actually directed an episode or two of Gilligan's Island.
Really?
I don't know whether you knew that or not, but yeah, he did. If you look at the credits for, I think he's got either one or two episodes in there that he directed, and I thought that was just the neatest thing I'd ever heard. I was like, wow, you directed Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. The only one I knew who directed Gilligan's Island before he became a superstar director was Richard Donner.
Yeah, that was something. That was another show that I grew up on. I loved that show.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, in fact, I'm trying to get Marianne on the show, and hopefully I will.
All right, you must make me a promise, Tommy.
I'm trying. It's
you know what I'm going to say? If you get Marianne on your show, you must have her call me. I must meet in some way, shape, or form Marianne, even though it's just over the phone. Because when I was like 13 years old, I had the biggest crush on her. I've got to talk to Marianne. You have to make that happen for me.
I don't know if I can make that happen, but what I can do is I can give a shout out to you and tag you in it on Facebook.
Absolutely. Maybe just tell her that you had a guy on from Rappin who for decades has thought you was the most wonderful thing ever.
I really would do that. I really would do that, Richie. But from the time I was like 3 or 4, I was watching Rappin' over and over again and quoting every line because my brother had it on VHS. He's 9 years older than me, and I still love the movie. It's this musical comedy drama with great social commentary on corrupt politicians taking over towns, which is very ironic to the fact that my hometown, San Mateo, has been taken over by the tech boom. And I think Rappin' Hood was the perfect name for him because he does, help the poor.
Yeah. It was a nice story. I remember one of the things that affected me that I thought was just wonderful was how the story itself. I mean, you look back now on the movie, and of course, it has its moments of being kind of cheesy and it was a low budget film and everything, but you can kind of look past that. It is sort of a glimpse into history and how at that time things were starting to happen in the getting people kicked out of their homes, and it was for them. It was fun, you know. It was fun, and it was, I think, not only fun to watch, but I certainly had fun making it, and I think all the other guys did too.
Yeah, I love it when you guys take all the food from the produce warehouse that your character works at, and you leave it on all the doorsteps. You know, like Rutanya all does. Yeah, she's a frequent guest on here too, and stuff. Great lady.
Oh yeah, she was such a sweet. From what I remember, she's such a sweet and kind woman, and of course, you know, she was in Deer Hunter with De Niro and
Yep.
White.
Christopher Walken.
Gracious, and when I met her, being as young as I was, and knowing about Deer Hunter and De Niro and all that already, I was just in awe of her, and it was so wonderful for me to meet someone who had been in a film like that, which is a landmark film of wonderful films that ever were, and yet she was just so humble and kind and sweet and loving. It just was so wonderful to experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she doesn't disappoint. She is just wonderful. And was it freezing cold out there?
It was pretty cold. We had a few days, fortunately, that it was kind of nice. So you'll see that in some of the film footage. I don't even have a jacket on.
Yeah.
But there were several days when it was really cold out there. And one of the scenes, it was supposed to have lots and lots of snow on the ground, where we steal the fuel for the furnaces.
Yeah.
In the truck. And there was supposed to be snow that day. There was no snow, so we had to bring a truck in to make fake snow. All the snow you see there is fake. Well, most of it, I think. And so that was kind of interesting. One of the other things I remember that was really exciting for me was, do you remember the scene where we mess up Cedric's car, and then me and Moon on the car, and he takes off with us on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was really on that car. So was Moon. So was Kadeem Hardison. We were both on that car. And, I mean, I think about that today, and I think, oh, my gosh, I cannot believe he was actually driving with us on the car. And they only switch with the stunt double when you see the car hit the garbage truck and we go flying in. That was the stunt double. But when you see the camera and we're actually driving back and forth and we're on top of it, we're really on top of it. I don't think they would allow that today.
Yeah. I just interviewed a stunt guy from the movie not too long ago, Gary Takan.
That name sounds familiar, but I can't place him.
Yeah.
I remember Danny Aiello Jr. was in there.
Oh, yeah. Danny Aiello Jr. was in there. And, Gary Takan, he told me he didn't remember much of what he did and stuff, but that was his first stunt production ever after being a New York actor for a long time. He had been the guy who steals Miss Piggy's purse in The Muppets Take Manhattan, and someone told him that he should be a stuntman because of the way he was running and just how good he was at doing that and stuff. And so he did, and Rappin was his first stunt production.
Wow, yeah, that was. I think that movie was probably a lot of firsts for several of us. So it was quite an experience.
Yeah, I mean, you had like Eric LaSalle. I think that was his first movie.
Yeah, I think it was. And of course, he went on to do great things, as did Kadeem, and Mario, and Peebles, of course. He's done it.
Oh yeah.
Really. So yeah. And we all had a good time. I mean, we all got along very well and worked really well together and had fun. I still remember, going out. It was the first time we all met and going to dinner and talking about things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a funny story. We were at a really nice restaurant in Pittsburgh, and you remember Melvin Flowers who played Fast?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we were at this really high-end restaurant, and we were there having dinner and everything. That was so good, and it was time for dessert. So, yeah, we ordered dessert, so we ordered some dessert. And, in these French restaurants, the dessert is like maybe a little thing in the center with a little drizzle of vanilla sauce over know what I mean? It's just so small and delicate. I remember they brought it and they set it down in front of Melvin, and he looked at him like, "That's it? That's all?" The waitress was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can I have a couple more of these?"
Shit. That's great. Yeah. And was Charles Grant, who played Dwayne, was he really a good guy?
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody in the cast, I enjoyed my time. I mean, I can't think back and have a memory that was negative. All the leads, we all got along well. We all talked with each other. Tasia Valencia, of course, what a sweetheart she was. Very talented young lady.
Yeah.
So we all, they were all just great. A great group of well, now I can look back and say a great group of kids. I mean, we didn't know we were kids back then. We didn't feel like kids, but I look back now and we were so young. We were just kids, but we all got along so well.
Mm-hmm. William Mott, who played Psycho, Dwayne's right-hand man, he went on to be in a lot of George Romero's later horror movies.
This does not surprise me.
Yeah.
He was, I think he was, if I remember correctly, I think he was a local from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really, I mean, I may be wrong about that, but I don't.
You're right.
He was a local. So I really did not get to know him very well. I didn't have a lot of interaction with him because he didn't come with us from New York. He wasn't part of the real main, co-starring roles. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him about that. I do remember the first time I saw him do some of his stuff when we were filming. It was kind of a small role, but it was significant. But I remember watching it and thinking like, "Oh, geez, I think something's wrong with this guy. This guy scares me."
Yeah. Well, he always played gang-related guys. But you were right, though, because all of George Romero's movies were Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania movies in the later years, and then eventually Canada when he moved there and stuff. But you were right about that, yeah. But he's so good. He's got that face, of playing, someone who's just really scary.
Yeah, and those eyes. When he opens up his eyes really wide.
Yeah.
Perfect. Very scary.
Yeah. But I do love it though that in that scene when you guys put the electricity back on and that prostitute distracts the city worker with sex.
That was such a comedy scene, and like even something like that, it wasn't by any standard, especially today. Even though there was she was playing a hooker and it was just fun. It was silliness. It was absolute silliness. You could hear it in the music. And when Melvin was, bouncing on the bed laughing, they put the little sound effect in it. It goes boing, boing, boing. He's under the bed. It was pretty funny. That was the thing that cracked everybody up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I'm so amazed that we're talking about this. I'm so amazed that there are so many people apparently out there who know this film like you know it and have seen it. In fact, when I moved back from California. I was out in California for a couple decades, and I moved back to New York in about 2010, and I took a position for a short while as a server, as most actors do, here at one of the restaurants. My manager, after I'd been working there a few months, said, "Hey, are you Richie? Were you ever in a movie called Rappin?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh my God, you're Richie?" And he said he grew up watching that film, loved that film, knew who I was, and he was blown away that after all these years, he met me. And he made me give him a picture and, an 8x10 headshot, signed it and everything. So it's just amazing. And there was another restaurant up here in Washington Heights, New York, that had a special night where they actually showed the movie as, I think, the 25th anniversary or something like that, or 30th anniversary or something like that. And they had me come out and introduce me and everything. It's weird. It's weird and wonderful. So sound like this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And of course, Ice-T did the rapping for Mario.
No, no, he didn't. No, Mario did most of that rapping. If there was anything that looks like it's coming out of Mario's mouth, but it's Ice-T, I'm not aware of that. I mean, I can clearly remember. You can hear it. I mean, you can hear that that's Mario on the album. So,
Yeah.
unless there was something dubbed that I don't know about in other songs that I wasn't a part of, from what I know, that's Mario rapping.
Okay, that's just the IMDb crap that I was talking about before, how inaccurate it can be.
No, that's Mario. That's, when he's in the studio in that scene where he's rapping and you see his little brother getting chased by the cops and everything, that whole rap thing there, that's all Mario. All of us did our own rapping. When you see
Oh yeah, I know that.
Snack Attack and stuff. But no, he did that rapping from what I remember. Sounds like him too.
Yeah, during the credits, everybody gets to rap.
Yeah. But when he's in that studio, that's it.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
But Ice-T is in the movie, though.
Oh yeah. And I think Eric, Kadeem, and Mario knew who Ice-T was. He was up and coming at that time. I did not know who he was. And when I saw him perform, I was like, wow, this is really something. I mean, he was clearly going to be a force to be reckoned with in that style of music. So again, that music was just kind of starting out. It was like 83, 84, something like that. So yeah, it's funny when you look at Ice-T in the film. He's skinny as a rail, I mean, he's just this skinny guy, So.
Yeah. Now here's a piece of trivia. I love the scene, where you guys are doing the court hearing at the end of the movie. And did you know that one of the members of the council is Morgan Freeman?
You're kidding me.
No. If you go on YouTube, you'll see. Oh my God, you won't believe it.
You are. I'm shocked. Okay, now I gotta go grab my version, my copy of the movie, plug it in. This is shocking to me. I did not know that.
Yeah, he has no line.
Wow.
He's just there. I was just like, I after seeing this movie so many times, I never realized it.
Did you check that? Have you verified that? That's crazy.
I did look on IMDb, and it didn't say anything, but you look, and it's him. It's definitely him.
Wow. I may have to call some friends about that one. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
Wow.
It's really crazy. Did you guys have a rap party when it was finished?
I think we did, but that particular event has been lost to the sands of time in my memory, and I don't really remember it. In fact, it may be that there was a rap party, and I might not have even gone to it because I had to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that maybe that's why I don't remember. But I'm sure there was a rap party.
Yeah. Did you have a premiere?
Did I have a career?
A premiere for the movie.
Did I have a what? I'm sorry.
A premiere for the movie.
Oh, a premiere. Did I have a premiere?
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't remember. You know what? I don't think we did. I think it was just released. The only thing I can remember is walking around New York and seeing the posters up, and me on the posters, and thinking, this is cool. So, I can't remember any kind of actual premiere. I don't think it was that big of a movie. I mean, it's very low budget.
Right.
I think when it was all said and done from the release, I think it only grossed a little over $1 million. I might be wrong on that, but it was a pretty small sale.
that? Do you think Cannon was expecting it to be a bigger hit than Breakin'?
Yeah, I think they were. I think they were banking on it being a real follow-up to Breakin'. Breakin', Rappin'. And it was going to be at least as big as Breakin', if not bigger. And that just didn't happen for whatever reason. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So after that movie, did you audition a lot?
After that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. After that movie came out, I believe I did some commercial work, and then very shortly after that came out, I moved out to California, and that's where I did the ABC specials. I did a few commercials. I did a Constitution with Bill Moyers, and then after a certain period of time, I kind of felt like I wanted to do something else. So I actually left show business for a while, and I became a journalist and an author. And over the course of the next 20-some years, I wrote 20 books, various articles, and I was an investigative reporter and a journalist. I won 2 awards, and I kind of wrote about things that to me were very important. About intolerance in North America, some pretty serious domestic terrorism issues, but then lighter things too, like a guide for parents about video games, the history of traditions in Easter. So I kind of just wrote about what interested me at the time, and then I eventually stopped doing that, moved back to New York in about 2009, 2010, and started up a show business again. And now I'm writing plays. I'm writing my first musical. My first play just won honorable mention in Writer's Digest competition. And I'm trying to get my plays and my musicals sort of out there to be performed. My newest play is 5 Women, about 5 women who live in New York. And it gives a good voice to real women and real relationships using real dialogue in New York City in our present day. It's a sort of a comedy drama.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I had been reading that when you were doing journalism, one of your specialties was cults, and I'm very fascinated by cults. I've uncovered a conspiracy theory that AA is a cult.
There's a lot of talk about that. I'm not real well versed in the history of what goes on in AA. It's just those things I have not delved into. I've been dealing mostly with cults that have been quite significant in our society. The Jim Jones, the Branch Davidians. In fact, my first book was on the Branch Davidians, called The Apocalypse. A lot of doomsday, end-time cults. And just looking at them from the perspective of what is it exactly that makes a cult? Why is something called a cult as opposed to a world religion? And so there's a lot of material written on that. But it's fascinating to look at these groups from a psychological perspective and understand not only what people believe, but why they believe it. And I think we see a lot of that's applicable in society now as well. Some of the things that are going on with extremism in the political realm, and why people are gravitating to certain beliefs and ideas. And we also see it with the whole coronavirus, a lot of information, disinformation out there. So it all kind of goes together. But I've actually put a lot of that on hold since I came back to New York, and I'm really trying to focus. The reason I got into that whole area was because I was trying to help people and help society become a better place to live for people, get information to individuals who might need it if they're involved in certain groups like that. And now I've sort of gone back to my roots as a singer, actor, and a playwright to produce things that can also help people and change society and get truth out there. I've always been very big on that, trying to get
that's great. I mean, God, you sounds like you've been a busy Renaissance man.
Yeah, I've been a busy Renaissance man, or as my wife says, I just get bored really, so I got to do other stuff.
Yeah. I see you did Jesus Christ Superstar on stage.
I did. And that was kind of a fun show. I had not performed in quite some time because, as I said, I took a break from performing to do my writing. Not a total break. I still sang at the church where I was attending in California. I did 2 albums of contemporary Christian music that I had written, original inspirational music. I did 2 albums that sold very well, made a lot of, helped a lot of people with the music that I wrote. Again, just, trying to help people through difficult times. So I did this music, but not on stage. I had really performed in a musical. So when I left California and got back in the show business, an opportunity came for me to be able to actually go back to my hometown, Rockford, and do one of the community theater shows that were being done that I got a special dispensation for from my union, Equity, to be able to do that show. And I was able to go back to my hometown and play Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar in Rockford. And I had for years and years and years wanted to play Judas. So that was actually a dream come true. And it also, very special to me because that was the last time that my mother was able to see me perform before she passed away. So that has a lot of special memories for me.
Oh, at least she got to see you perform, and she got to see you come very far, at least.
Yes. Made her very happy.
Mm-hmm. Aside from that play you mentioned, The 5 Women, do you have anything else coming up? I know it's a crazy time right now.
It is, and that's part of what's putting everything on hold. I am working on my very first musical called Carly. It is about a young 20-something girl named Carly who comes from a broken home, alcoholic mother, estranged father, and it is what I like to call, it's going to be a story of healing and renewal. And so it follows this girl, Carly, from the beginning of the show, which opens in a psychiatric ward of a hospital where she is after a failed suicide attempt. And then she leaves the hospital, and we go on a musical journey with her through a process of coming to grips with demons that haunt her and healing the relationship with her father, so that at the end of the show, we have her not the one who any longer needs healing, but the one who actually is going to be able to heal others. So it's kind of a very special musical for me to be writing. So I have about half the music written. I have about half the script written. So that is what I'm going to be working on this year.
Awesome. Hopefully next year or something you can get it shown and performed and stuff. And I hope that's a huge success for you.
Me too. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, today is my 3-year anniversary since I started this podcast.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations and happy anniversary. I'm honored to be your guest on the day.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, you've been a great anniversary guest, and I'm glad that you came on. We got to talk about Rappin because it's so underrated. I think it needed to be talked about, and I thank you so much for coming on today, Richie.
Well, it was my pleasure, and it brought back some really very special memories, very precious and special memories. So I want to thank you.
Oh.
It's been my pleasure.
Oh, I'm glad. My pleasure. And I hope you stay safe, and God bless you and your wife, and hopefully your play will get seen by next year and stuff. And, yeah, have a great rest of your day.
All right, Tommy. You take care, and you stay safe out there, too.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Richie Abanes. Ain't he a cool dude? Nice guy. Man, hard worker. Very prolific. I like him a lot. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes. We can't stop. Won't stop. Climbing that mountain till we hit the top. We won't stop. We can't stop. Climbing that mountain till we hit the top.